Hello. Cheers, Kevin here. How are you doing? I hope that you're doing well. I had a whole other video that was ready to go today. It's uploaded, it's YouTubed, it's thumbnailed, and we're just gonna have to put that on hold because YouTube decided to be jerks today, and man, we got to talk about it. So if you watch the Philip DeFranco show, or you've been looking at other YouTubers' Twitter accounts, or perhaps by this time this goes up, there are a bunch of other YouTube videos talking about this. There is some scandals in the YouTube community, not the community, in the YouTube business. Several YouTubers, many YouTubers, have discovered that some of their content has been marked as not eligible for monetization because it does not meet the standard of being advertiser friendly. Now, this is a fun little term. This is not something that's typically been enforced. YouTube has had this sort of in their terms of service for a very long time, that they are able to say, hey, we don't want to allow you to monetize because we're just nervous about the fallout. But they also can say, hey, we don't even want to host your video because they're concerned about, they can do whatever they want. They're a private company. They can do, this is fine. But all of a sudden, it seems like they're more strictly enforcing their policy of like, we're going to try and make sure that if your content is a little bit edgy and probably advertisers are going to complain, well, then we're just going to mark you as, no, we're not going to run any ads on your stuff. So what are the results here? People are very upset, particularly YouTube creators, as you might imagine, the ones who are like making stuff and with the expectation that they're going to be able to make some ad money off of it. They can repay them for their time and the resources. Some of them are contracting out for paying other people to create various stuff, whatever the case may be. And all of a sudden they're being told, nope, you can't make any ad money off of this stuff. There've been a couple of people who shared out, hey, look, I had this video where I talked about my depression. That's now marked as, we're not gonna run ads on that. That's inappropriate for advertisers. You can still keep it on the site. It's not content inappropriate. Like, it's perfectly fine for children under the age of 13 to watch. But, you can't make money off of it because the advertisers, man, the advertisers. Perhaps the most egregious example that struck me is Assad, who's a fantastic channel, kind of these beautifully animated educational videos about sort of scientific topics. It's just truly a wonderful channel. There'll be a link in the description to the video that in question. One of his videos on why nuclear energy is a bad idea got flagged as not advertiser friendly. Why? I don't know. Advertisers want to nuke us all, I guess. That'd be the assumption. That was my takeaway from seeing that bit of news. So, okay, you may be thinking, and perhaps with some justification, so some YouTubers don't get as much money for some of their videos and blah. And one of the words that you're likely going to hear, if you haven't heard it already around this topic, and it's a word that has been so abused and overused that it's easy to just tune it out and go, well, this isn't a real thing, is the word censorship. That YouTube is now censoring the stuff they're able to make. We can't swear anymore. We can't talk about violence anymore. We can't talk about sex anymore. We can't talk about anything. We can't talk about depression. Oh God, no. Heaven forbid that we talk about our deep emotional failings and feelings, because that would just bum everybody out, and then we can't sell you more Pepsi. That would suck, right? That would be freaking terrible. Yeah, okay, yeah, there we go. Hello, I'm still here. The problem is that advertisers are now, because of this policy, the opinion of advertisers is exerting more control over the content that we're creating. Now, it'd be very easy to fault YouTube in this. I can't say that I can go along with that. YouTube has always had a long history of kind of siding with large companies at the expense of creators, particularly when it comes to issues of copyright claims, which I'm sure you've at least seen somebody talk about. Cases where we go, hey, I made this cool parody thing, and some company comes along and says, hey, well, you stole our thing. No, it's transformative. We can look at this case law. It's totally fine. They're like, no, you stole our thing. YouTube, get him. And YouTube looks and they go, it's probably no, we agree with you, evil company. Yes, we're gonna take it down right now because you won't sue us with all of your lawyers, right? Please, we're totally best buds, right? There you go, little stage play about YouTube's relationship with large companies versus creators. Creators have, to a large extent, felt like, hey, we're like, they're just poor wage slaves working around here, and you're just like dictating all these policies and then just being nice to all these large companies. And I think that's what's going on here as well. Advertisers are notorious about trying to find any way to just not pay or get more out of their deals because they're dealing with large amounts of money and they do have a lot more bargaining power in any sort of negotiation. They've got a whole bunch of money, they want to give it to you. And so they come along and they say, hey, show this ad to this many viewers, and YouTube can go, okay, and they'll say, hey, we showed them to all those viewers. Can we get paid now? Well, then it's very easy for the advertiser to say, hey, there's this concept called make good. It's a term that I learned when I had to deal with advertisers. It is hey, we feel that for whatever reason you didn't live up to your end of the bargain, and so we want either like some free stuff or some more additional ads, or we don't want to pay the full amount, or we're just, no, we're not going to pay you for that. That doesn't count. They can go, hey, you showed our video. You showed our ad before a video about abortion. How dare you? We don't want to be associated. We're not paying for this. Well, we already showed you the ad. No, we're not paying for this. This is the ethics of the thing. It is very easy for advertisers to go ahead and sort of strong arm after the fact. And I think this is basically what YouTube is having to deal with now, that this is pure speculation. But I would be very surprised if this at least didn't pay a significant, if this was not at least a significant part, that advertisers are going and they're saying, they're trying to find some ways to not have to pay or to get additional money or whatever. And they're going, hey, you associated us with this thing. We didn't ask for that. And so YouTube said, fine, I guess, yeah, we'll throw your ads on the videos about kittens and rainbows, which, by the way, nothing wrong with kittens and rainbows, they're great too, but we'll throw the ads on there and then we'll just not use ads on anything else because we want to get paid. And I think, yeah, it's again, it's going to end up penalizing creators, and particularly the problem here is that it's not just a matter of, well, people are creating vulgar content and the presentation is awful, but there are people that are making well-presented, informative information about tricky subjects. And just because the subject matter is something that doesn't align with advertiser values, I don't know what advertiser, money. Just because subject matter doesn't align, no, you're out. So what is the problem? Well, the problem is that this just means that advertising goals are going to continue to exert more and more direction over the content that you get to consume. Ignore the creators and their whining, because we will always find reasons to whine, whether rightly or wrongly. Ignore that for now. What the important thing to keep in mind now is that advertising is going to be dictating more and more of the stuff that you get to watch and see and read and experience and interact with. And to some extent it always has. But we have somehow decided to make this bargain on the internet and say everything's just going to be ad supported. This is the model that we've got to go with. We're not going to be charging, we tried to charge for CDs and you didn't go for that. You just started sharing everything. So I guess we're not going to charge things. We're not going to put things behind paywalls because that doesn't seem to work. Instead, we're going to say, okay, we'll just do advertising-based stuff. And this will mean that you can share your stuff. Your video can go viral because you don't have to rely on people being, if you try and make something and you're not well known and you say, hey, pay me $10 and you can watch this video that I made, it ain't ever gonna go viral, right? If you put things behind paywalls, they don't go viral. Unless you're Beyonce, and then sure, whatever. You can charge people and still go viral, it's fine. So that was a model that we gave up on, and now we're in this advertising-based model. And you've seen there have been videos and discussions about YouTube sponsorships and disclosure problems. Again, just the content subtly shifting to follow the money, to follow the goal of the advertisers, to create content that puts you in a better frame of mind to buy things, to spend your money on things you may need, you probably don't need, I don't know. I don't know what you need, I'm not gonna tell you what you need, but that's what's happening with the content. So what is the alternative? What are we supposed to do? Well, we can be angry, and certainly feel free to be angry. Feel free to rage at YouTube and do all of that. I don't think it's gonna matter because I don't think that this is YouTube waking up and deciding, hey, we're gonna be evil today. I think this is YouTube going, shoot, we're getting sued and we're having to pay a whole bunch of extra money to these advertisers because otherwise they'll just stop doing business with us and they'll be like, oh, we're gonna go pay Hulu and Netflix a whole bunch of money and do whatever else. YouTube has to compete. They have to be a business, and their business is to appeal to these advertisers. And they have to compete with Facebook and other social networks to do that. It sucks. But one of the things that we can do is we can consider, hey, what do we want our internet to be based on? in the future? How do we want the internet to run? And I think that the patron model seems to maybe be a good idea. If you are a creator and you don't have a Patreon, I'm a creator and I don't have a Patreon, I don't think my content is worth a Patreon. I don't think my content is worth supporting, and I feel awkward asking people to support my stuff. If you don't have a Patreon though, and I'm encouraging you to do this, and I'm working on it myself, please set one up. This is a model that is a little bit different. It means that you are not chasing after advertising, and it means that at the very least, the people who are paying and supporting your content are more distributed, and they don't have one shared corporate interest, right? That's the only difference. You're still beholden to them to some extent. That if you make content and you can't get anybody to support it, then yeah. And there's still certainly problems of, well, what if I make content that appeals to people who largely don't have the ability to support me? It's rough too. But the advertising model is what we've been working with now, and what we've seen is, hey, if we continue down this road, we're gonna have lots of very vanilla content that puts you in a very good frame of mind to spend lots of money. So if you do not have a Patreon, I recommend please set one up. Not because you think, even if you think your stuff isn't worth it, not even with the hope that you'll get anything, just with the goal of let's make this the normal way that we deal with internet art going forward. Let's make this the norm. Let's stop using advertising as the norm, because they're going to continue to encroach and change the way that your art is. And it's going to continue to change the stuff that you're able to consume. And that sucks. It really, really sucks. So please, if you have the ability to support people on Patreon, please do. If you have the ability to open a Patreon for your blog or your whatever the heck you do, you stream once every month, it doesn't matter. Please just make this the way. Make this the standard default behavior so that it doesn't feel weird to everybody when you see people doing Patreon, that this can become a way that we can operate in a sustainable way and make art that is decoupled from this very frustrating advertiser interest. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I'd be very interested to hear what you all think, because I'm just coming at this from my own perspective, and I could be completely wrong. Don't have a lot of data. I'm just kind of pontificating at this point. Let me know what you think in the comments, and share this video out if you found it interesting. That'd be really cool. And yeah, I'm gonna go work on opening up a Patreon. Not because I think anybody should pay me money, but man, I really don't like enabling advertisers. I want to stop giving them permission to just continue doing what they're doing. So this is how we do that. I'll see you soon. Cheers.